Welcome back to Scout Report on Eurofootball Daily, where today we're breaking down the big dilemma facing Gareth Southgate once more: Jack Grealish or Mason Mount. It was the narrative that dominated the England setup back in October, and will no doubt stir up debate again, with Grealish only going from strength to strength for Aston Villa since. However, as with all things England, it's not that simple. We evaluate their individual qualities, the challenges facing each player, and whether they could even turn out for the three lions together. In the most recent international break, Southgate was heavily derided for choosing Mount over Grealish in a miserable defeat to Denmark. He joined Harry Kane and Marcus Rashford in a front three, with 7 defensive-minded players behind them. That was despite Grealish's man-of-the-match display against Wales only 6 days prior, where his assist for Dominic Calvert-Lewin only began to tell the story of his contribution. Even with 10 men, against the Danes, England were crying out for creativity. And although Mount did score in the 2-1 win over Belgium, when it comes to producing magic on the pitch, there's little doubt over who the fans want to see. Jack Grealish has roared into the public eye over the past few seasons, thanks to some stunning solo performances. During 2019-20, there were few attacking metrics where he didn't feature, with the 9,108 yards he carried the ball forward bettered by no one in the division, a feat he is on course to match once more this year. Last term, he also ranked 3rd for passes into the penalty area, 2nd for shot-creating actions, and 1st for fouls drawn, having been chopped down 167 times in total. Without Grealish, it seems impossible that Aston Villa would be a Premier League side today. And he started this season in equally prolific fashion. From the opening 7 Premier League games, Grealish has registered 4 goals and 5 assists. The Villa captain has even managed to improve his creativity on last season, currently soaring on 5.9 shots and key passes per 90. For context, only Bruno Fernandes, Kevin De Bruyne and Ross Barkley currently post more key passes per game than Grealish, although none can match the 25-year-old's end product. Over at Chelsea, Mason Mount is actually delivering an impressive 4.5 shots and key passes per 90 of his own, though his expected goals and assist total of 1.94 suggests that he hasn't merited more than his 2-goal contributions so far. But that doesn't do justice to Mount as an attacking threat. For all Grealish's ingenuity, he only posted 2 more goal involvements than Mount last season, 14-12. What's more, in 1920, Mount actually bettered Grealish for goal-creating actions, showing a clinical edge to his game often overlooked. That said, Grealish undeniably offers a greater threat that could be useful to expose stubborn defences England are set to face in Ireland and Iceland. But that's where comparisons between their attacking potential should end, as in reality both play different positions for their clubs which demand different responsibilities. Grealish, for example, should no longer be considered a classic midfielder, having focused his efforts on being predominantly a left winger, and the statistics support how their roles have changed and differed. In the current season, Grealish has averaged merely 3.7 passes in his own half per game, while Mount is on 13.1. In an interesting twist, Mount also beats his counterpart for accurate passes in the opposition half too, but the majority of that action comes nearer the centre circle. This is because Aston Villa look to progress the ball quickly to Grealish in order to spring their attacks. They spend the least time in the middle third of the pitch alongside Leeds United, with only Fulham shooting more often than the villains on the left flank where their talisman operates. Chelsea, meanwhile, are much more concerned with possession, currently averaging 56.9% per game. Mount is key to that, having dropped deeper to become a recognisable left-sided midfielder in a central 3, and enjoying a lot more of the ball as a result. As we'll explore, he sacrificed his attacking intent to accommodate the influx of expensive new additions within the Blues' forward line, and applied the other qualities in his game to find a permanent home in Lampard's system. Grealish's issue is that being the more offensive of the two has its challenges when it comes to England. Gareth Southgate has made it clear in the past that when fit, he prefers a forward 3 including Raheem Sterling, Harry Kane, Marcus Rashford or Jadon Sancho. If he refuses to accommodate the Villa star into that pack, then both are vying for a spot alongside Jordan Henderson and or Declan Rice in the midfield, depending on whether they line up in a 4-3-3 or 3-5-2. And that's where the advantage falls to Mount. After the Belgian victory, Southgate lavished praise on Mount for his work rate off the ball that proved vital in quelling the world's #1 ranked side. Lampard has been equally receptive to the 21-year-old's underappreciated qualities, only handing Kepa Arrizabalaga and his captain Cesar Azpilicueta more minutes than him in the league last season. In 2019-20, Mason Mount applied pressure on the opposition 23 times per 90 minutes, regaining possession an average of 6 times a game. No player in the entire Chelsea squad endeavoured to win the ball back more than him, with Azpilicueta the next best with 159 pressures fewer than Mount. Though the overall success rate of his pressures was relatively low, the sheer volume of his efforts made him comfortably the hardest working midfielder in the Premier League. And there are signs he could trump that remarkable figure this season, already ranking 10th in the division for pressures with 139 so far. But closing people down isn't the only way Mount has distinguished himself since emerging in the Blues starting 11. At the time of writing, only the ever-reliable N'Golo Kanté betters his 4.5 tackles and interceptions per 90, while he remains one of the best at Chelsea for blocks and carries too. And although he predominantly plays behind a front three, only Timo Werner and Reece James enjoy more touches of the ball in the opposition third than Mount. This demonstrates why Mount continues to be selected despite it initially appearing that his position in the Chelsea side was under threat. He's applied the defensive intensity that made him so effective in 1920 on the wing into his new position in the midfield, and the results have been remarkable. What's more, his attacking potential still remains, as seen in his chance-creating actions. His performance in October's 3-0 victory away to Burnley epitomises why Chelsea fans love the academy product so much. In the number 8 role, Mount completed 73 out of 80 passes for an astonishing success rate of 93%, was accurate with 7 out of 7 long balls, registered 5 shots and key passes, and won 3 of his tackles. He even posted an assist too. Hakim Ziyech may have stolen all the plaudits, but Mount's contribution wasn't lost on the observant eye, with Southgate no doubt watching. That's not to say Grealish can't put in a defensive shift too. Last season he managed to regain the ball 4 times per 90, while his ability to carry from deep makes him a very useful asset. He does complete a respectable 2 defensive actions per game and ranks in the top 3 of the Villa squad for tackles, but he's one of the worst defenders in the division when it comes to conceding fouls. What all this highlights is how different the two players truly are. Grealish is the focal point of Villa's attack, capable of individual skill and wizardry at the drop of a shoulder, while Mount is part of a system designed to unleash Chelsea's expensively assembled forward line. Yet for all Grealish's superior attacking numbers, his expected goal build-up per 90 rate of 0.26 is only narrowly higher than Mount's 0.19, showing that both are equally important to their respective side success. All things considered, it's not surprising the tactically cautious Southgate opts for Mount over Grealish, as he's more adapted to the style and demands required of any midfielders in the system. But that's not to say the two couldn't play together. That was an idea floated by Mount himself when questioned about it by the press. The immediate problem is that one of the two would be forced out of their favoured left side and pushed to the right, where Jordan Henderson plays for club and country. Considering his status as the Football Writers Player of the Year and his leadership and authority on the pitch, it's highly unlikely he'd be sacrificed. The only sensible conclusion would therefore be to play Grealish on the wing, and as previously stated, this would offer Southgate a selection dilemma, but there's no reason to suggest he doesn't deserve the opportunity based on current form. At the time of writing, only Harry Kane betters his 9 goal-creating actions a game, and he's completing a ridiculous 2.9 dribbles per 90, with only Alain Saint-Maximin and Adama Traore beating more men than the young Englishman this season. Within the England setup, Grealish has more league goals and assists than Rashford, Sterling and Sancho combined, the latter having struggled to hit top form since transfer links with Manchester United. Sterling too is off the pace of his usual high standards, having seen both his shots and key passes drop since last term. Rashford, on the other hand, has started brightly, with 7 goals in all competitions for the Red Devils, but is finding the net with only 29% of his shots on target, compared to Grealish's huge 57%. And in a stat that could prove pivotal considering Southgate's selection policy, only Sterling comes close to matching Grealish's defensive actions per game. It would be a bold move to rupture one of the most exciting forward lines in international football. However, there is every chance including Grealish may actually improve the side, and who wouldn't welcome the opportunity to see the Maverick Villa captain and Harry Kane joining forces in the box. Mason Mount has unfairly emerged as a scapegoat for fans frustrated at the sight of Jack Grealish on the bench. Though Gareth Southgate hasn't helped the situation with his selection policy and comments in the media, it's wrong to assume that they're direct rivals competing for the same spot in the England side, when stylistically they vary massively. Mount's selfless engine and recovery skills do make him the perfect complement for Southgate's elite forward line, just as he has been for the Premier League's current top scorers. Grealish, meanwhile, is a left winger at heart, and though he can play in midfield, his natural competition in the squad should come from those in a similar position. However, Southgate might be wise to play them together in a 4-3-3, and maybe then we could see the very best of each and allow both to shine for their country. So that's our take on the Mount versus Grealish debate, but where do you come down? Let us know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, drop us a like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell to never miss a video. We'll see you next time.